So this is Baruch Fleischman, and this is time for our 5-minute Zohar on Parshas Pinchas. Little by little, we are moving through this. As a Beit Shin Lamed. Let's go down to the bottom and see what's going on here. Now, before we go into the detail, I was this weekend in St. Louis, where I come from, and one of my relatives had a very severe stroke, and not such an old person. You could see that she cannot speak well. She tries to speak. But the difference between the distance, that's why I said the distance between a thought which moves at an infinitesimally fast speed, to actually get that thought to come out of your mouth is a very complicated process. The Zohar continues to talk about these things, but in a Kabbalistic way. So let's see what the Zohar says now. So let's talk about the windpipe. So he says the secret of the windpipe is shis is that there are six rings in the windpipe. Behem keneged the bok the malchus, and they correspond to the 6 spheros of malchus, that the lower 6 spheros. In other words, in all of the partsufim, malchus, for example, she has 10 spheros. So 6 of those lower spheros are really the zer anpin of malchus, but we don't say that exactly like that. But instead, it's called the vok, the 6 lower spheros of malchus. Sheyotze bechem sheish madregos malayim sheshorsham min habina v'hagavura, and in these 6 rings that come together, there are full of malachim who have roots that come from bina and gavura. In other words, from the left side. In other words, there's a concept of tikkun in the sense that it's squeezing. V'sham heim nechlalim yachad. In that place, they come together. V'inun ikron b'nei elim, and they're called by that name, b'nei elim. Asafke rucha. Mafke rucha l'nashbech b'al alma. V'heim mamonim l'chotzias as a ruach l'nashev ba'olam. They're the ones that bring out the wind, the spirit, in order to rest in the world, that through which comes the rain. The Rabbi said like this, Mashiva ruch the Geshem, va'asem mesitra de gevura. And all of this thing comes from the side of gevura, like a squeezing down, squeezing out. V'heim ba'adem aboim mitzad de gevura. Geshem ba mitzad de gevura, because he says that's where rain comes from. Rain comes in the side of gevura, and so it's a little bit different places. V'kad inun mischad brecha kachada, and when they join together, inun kagavda the shofar, then they come ka'ayin hashofar. They're like the shofar of Rosh Hashanah. Shuhu sod habina shemisham shorsham, that would come from bina, which is from that is the place from which their root. The commercial shofar motzi kolos, in just the same way, the shofar brings out sounds. Kain elo hamalachim motziim kolos haramim. So they also bring out different kinds of sounds. V'ilun ikro ve'elo hamalachim nikroim. Now these malachim that we're talking about in this congealing of the 6 rings of the windpipe, so they're called shofar shal ayil shal Yitzchak. It's called the shofar, the ram of Yitzchak. So what are we talking about? Shehim mebechinas hagavura shorsha bebina, because they're the concept of the gavura, which has a root in bina. Understand, this is the left line, the line of din. Vehein sod elim b'nei bashan, and then the concept is elim b'nei bashan, ramazim al bina gavura, which is a reference to bina and gavura, which is the left line. Became mashakaz of hobul Hashem b'nei elim. So then we get this word elim. Bring forth to Hashem b'nei elim. Hainu elim de Yitzchak. Which el? So the word elim is going along with the word ayil, which is a ram, the ram of Yitzchak. Koach hagavura shal Yitzchak, and that's the power of the gavura of Yitzchak. O mafking rucha v'kola. They ultimately, as a result of that, they bring out spirit, rucha, which is wind, v'kola, and voice. Ve'im motzi and ruach v'kol, so that's breath and kol. Ki kain kuha inyan b'tebawos hakona. This is the inyan of the rings of the windpipe. Kasher heim rufuyos, when they're weak, yotzes ruach nocho. So then you have a low level of ruach comes out. V'kasher yiskash, but when they become hardened, v'yiskasha b'chazok, and then they tie together with in strength. Yotzi kol, then they bring out a voice, sound. Kamo kain elach malachim, so the same thing. These malachim, kashahem nifradim motziin ruach. So therefore, when they become separated, they bring out a breath. Because Hashem is kashva, when they come together, yachad heim bebechinas shofar motziin kol, and they bring out a voice. This is Baruch Fleischman with your 5-minute Zohar Parshas Pinchas.